Hi everybody. I want to make a short and hopefully sweet welcome video. So welcome to class. I'm really looking forward to hanging out with you guys, although it's going to be virtual. And I want to begin this very short little video, welcome video, by telling you guys a story when I was a student like you guys. So I was going to Pacific Union College up in Napa Valley. It's a liberal arts college, a Seventh Adventist college. And anyways, I don't remember whether this is for a class or I did it on my own. I was a history major, and I don't remember now. I think it was for a class. I'm almost positive it was for a class. In fact, I think it's a modern Europe class, which would make complete sense for the story I'm going to tell you. In any case, I go to the library and I'm walking through looking at the shelves, just reading titles. But I recommend this sometimes. Now, obviously, thank God for the internet. Internet has amazing things, all kinds of cool things. We can do all kinds of searches. So that's fabulous, too. But sometimes, the irony, sometimes when you go to a library or a bookstore and you just randomly browse through, history section, political science, etc., sometimes you stumble across something you would not have found on a specialized search you get through Google, for example. In any case, I'm browsing through these titles and I come across a title. The title is Darkness at Noon. I thought, man, that's mysterious. I like that title. What is that? Darkness at Noon. Sounds ominous. By this guy named Arthur Koestler. I was like, wow, that, interesting. Sounds fascinating. So I pulled it out. Again, I didn't really know if it any good or not. So I pulled it out and started reading a little bit. And it turned out the main character, it's in a first person. Main character's name is, actually, I don't know if it's first person or not, but the main character is a man named Rubyshev. It's been a while. Rubyshev. I don't know if that's the pronunciation correctly or not. But anyways, he's an old Bolshevik, deeply committed revolutionary. His whole life, almost on a spiritual level, has been devoted to the Bolshevik or communist revolution in Russia. He's a deeply committed member of the Communist Party. He suffered immensely for it, given immensely for it, because he believes so strongly that this movement is for the betterment of humanity, even though there's been some tough, difficult days, of course. Transition periods are moving toward the workers' utopia. It's been difficult, painful losses. But the goal for humanity is so wonderful. We got to get there. Now, the book is about his arrest. He's arrested, and almost the entire book is Rubyshev in prison being interrogated. If memory serves me correctly, I believe by 3 interrogators. Now, it has been a while since I read it, but it seems to me at least the last 2, one of them was an old friend of his, by the way, at least the last 2 know he's innocent of the charges. By the way, the time period is the 1930s and the Great Purges, which we'll talk about in class. So he's been arrested and he's being charged with being an enemy of the revolution. He's working with this mysterious foreign powers against the revolution. Now, that's a complete lie. It's a complete lie. Rubyshev is as committed to the revolution as he ever has been. Loves it, has given his life for it, believes his heart and soul, his mind, everything. He's devoted to the revolution. He's a completely loyal party member, has done nothing wrong. He doesn't have questions in his mind about, despite the difficulties and of how the revolution's turned out, remains deeply committed. Now, he's seen some stuff, but has not shaken his overall faith in the justice and righteousness of the cause of the revolution. But he's being asked to falsely sign a confession that he knows is a lie, and he knows it. Now, by the way, at least the last 2 interrogators, they also know it's a lie and that he is completely innocent. But that does not change the fact he needs to sign that confession that he's guilty. By the way, and by signing it does not give him lesser treatment or slap on the wrist. Him signing will both destroy his reputation and it leads to his death with a bullet in the back of the head. So this is not some mistaken prosecution, but we'll lower your sentence, some plea deal. There is no plea deal. He will be considered an enemy of the revolution and executed shortly. There's going to be no appeal. That's it. It's a final alleyway to the graveyard. How do you get this guy to sign it? Now, by the way, in real life, we'll talk about this in class later in the semester. Oftentimes, some torture may be involved, If not torture, then certainly threaten the suspect, the member's family. Like, look, if you don't sign this, I cannot guarantee the safety of your wife and children. Oh, a ton of people sign voluntarily. Now, in the case Rubyshev, the book by Arthur Koestler, his main character, his family is primarily not threatened. The primary argument is to get him to agree. Again, they're not torturing him per se. They're not giving him per se sleep deprivation, so forth. Although he's in prison, he's very stressed, so obviously that's a certain level of pressure. But they're not doing the stereotypical things we think of as to force a confession. For example, physical torture or sleep deprivation, or putting him in a box, or other kind of horrific waterboarding, etc. These horrific ways of torturing. They're not doing that to him. They're primarily arguing with him to get him to agree. Okay, I don't know what happened. I think I had an email come in. Pause it for a minute. In any case, I did promise you short and sweet, so I'm almost getting to the end. In any case, the book ends with him eventually agreeing to sign a confession that both he and the interrogator know is a lie, and he will be executed. And there is no miraculous escape from jail. No, the book ends with him being taken out in the courtyard in the middle of the night, hearing the officer behind him take his pistol out, cock it. The last thing he hears is a click and then silence. Book ends. Shattering. Powerful. When I read this in college, it's like, I've read nothing like that. Nothing like that. It's a window into a faith system I was not familiar with, which is the absolute zeal and passion and belief in an ideology that's all-encompassing, that is far bigger than the individual, requires everything from you, including your death. But in this case, you obviously see it's a lie, and this is a machine devouring its own children. This totalitarianism, that's what it is. And that's what this class is going to examine in great detail, like that book that just grabbed me, and still has. In fact, ironically, I just ordered that book again yesterday. I read it back in college, but I wanted to read it again. You guys are going to read Arthur Koestler, too, our textbook. You're actually going to read excerpts from The Darkest Noon. You're going to read excerpts from his time in the Spanish Civil War. And many, many other wonderful things, too, as we examine totalitarian systems in this time period, 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, all the way up to today in many ways. And that's why this is so important even today. The great contest of ideas has not gone away. It continues. It's important. Now, we're also going to read some about liberal democracy, because we're going to read the totalitarian systems on the right, which would be fascism, on the left, which would be socialism, communism, and different versions of those as well. And those tend to be utopian, all-embracing systems, although fascism is not so utopian in a sense. But an all-embracing totalitarianism system where the individual no longer matters, you are subsumed into a whole. That appeal has not gone away. It remains. Now, we're also going to read about liberal democracy. And we'll see that most dramatically through the writings of Churchill and Orwell, and we'll get that through Tom Rick's books. In any case, I want to stop here. I didn't promise you short, and it's already over 8 minutes. I better wrap it up. We got wonderful, wonderful things to get to and important things to get. It's important for our democracy in the United States as we wrestle with some of these same issues to do that from a place of perspective and knowledge. The 20th century and the 21st century continues to resonate. These arguments are not stale, have not gone away. They're as live in many ways as they were back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. They might have morphed a bit, but look what's going on in Ukraine, other places in the world, going on in China. Look, even shaking in our own democracy, things taking place here too. Other places, Brazil, many other places in the world too. So I better wrap it up. Welcome to class, everybody. You're going to have your own personal interaction with these extraordinary ideas of these times that resonate both then and today. Welcome to class. Glad to have you guys with you. Look forward to hanging out with you guys. This intellectual feast that matters to all of us in our democracy and the world around us. So take care, everybody. Welcome.